Hey guys, time for our weekly update of what's going on next door to the old Japanese farmhouse. We should probably start putting this on our modern Japanese architecture playlist because it really is showing you exactly how a new house in Japan is sometimes built. This is usually how it's done, although the pace is much slower than what we've seen before. So you can see they've filled up their formwork there with concrete. Those little bars sticking out have got threads on them so that they can bolt down the wooden frames for the walls. That concrete you see isn't going to be the floor either, by the way. The floor's going to go on top of the concrete you can see there, or in between it. Oh yeah, someone asked about the toilet. Check out the toilet. There's the workman's toilet. It's actually a Japanese style one. Don't know why someone asked about the toilet, but they did. So that's for that person. Japanese style toilet there for the workman. Oh yeah, of course the tourists never stop coming. They all stop and have a look, see how much the new house is going to be, and have a look at the layout and sundry other stuff. It's sort of a little bit creepy though. You sort of look out the window and there'll be someone standing there like that. It's like, oh. You know he's looking at the sign, but it still feels a bit creepy, doesn't it? Is he looking at the sign? We're not used to it because, of course, in our quiet little street, usually there aren't people standing outside the front of our house. But anyway, so they poured the concrete. It was about 2 days later they came back to take the formwork off. These are funny, these guys. They seem to work in little bursts. They turn up about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. They faff around for a while, and they all seem to go to the toilet first thing when they turn up, and they sort of sit around and talk and smoke cigarettes, and then they have a little burst of activity like this, and then sit in their trucks for a while. We'll show you a little bit more about that later. So you're taking all the formwork off, exposing the concrete to the elements. Probably makes it dry better, probably. And probably take the formwork off to another job, probably. So yeah, they work at a sort of a gentle pace, these guys. Speaking of which, this day, when they sort of took a break for about 2.5 hours, at least 2.5, 3 hours, and they sat there with the engine running in the truck. It was a 25 degrees Celsius day. It was a beautiful day. It wasn't hot, but they had the engine running, the aircon on, windows up, and they were sleeping for 2.5, 3 hours. So they hadn't put in a big morning. They'd only been there for about 2 or 3 hours, probably 3 hours, working at a gentle pace, and they slept for about 3 hours. And then worked for a gentle pace for another couple of hours, and they went home. So formwork's off, and they've put their little caps on the top of the bolts there. So again, what are we, about 3 months? 3 months into the job. That's how far they've got so far. And again, we don't mind, no hurry. So we've had running jokes with a couple of our patrons, and a couple of PayPal supporters have been joking about how we can discourage people from buying the houses. So someone came up with another good idea. We had an idea of putting up the sign about the dangerous snakes. Someone else suggested that the unskilled model, the unskilled labourer, should dress up like Borat. Those of you who don't know Borat, this is what Borat looks like in one of his little outfits, and just sort of wander around in the garden. What do you think? The unskilled labourer in a little outfit like that, wandering around the garden, waving to the prospective buyers that when they come to look at the house. Hello! Hello there! That's another suggestion. Anyway, more videos coming soon.